Hi there, you're at the Cardano Wyckoff technical analysis session, and last week we asked whether Cardano is heading towards an upthrust, and indeed in the daily time frame it happened that way. We'll quickly take a look at that in a minute. But for the longer term, the bigger picture, in the weekly time frame, what's happening and why this week we see a long wick at the candle top? Let's quickly take a look. Here in the weekly chart, previously we put in this tag asking would Cardano reach all the way to the near the light blue key level, that's around $1.32, and as of now it's still too early to determine, because if this continue to go along the upward channel, this blue box, it may take all the time till or near the end or mid-end October in order to reach that particular line in light blue. So having said that, this current candle that we have this week, first it broke or stay above the orange key level of 79 cents. Last week it broke through, and then this week kept staying above. It opened above that line but dropped a bit, and eventually the bulls pushed it up all the way past the yellow. The yellow key level is around 95 cents 50, and as of this moment the bulls and the bears are fighting along this yellow key level. You see this long wick above the candlestick and the increased volume. This may be a sign that's still positive, because there are more people participating if we look at the volume, but it's still quite a low volume compared to what we had back in the buying climax. So this one is around, by visual check, it's more like just around a quarter or a little bit more than a quarter of what we had over there. So if the bulls, or if you're more bearish, hopefully you want to see this increasing while the price stays within this box. So that's very key in order to have sufficient rocket fuel for the price to shoot above the green level. The green level is at $1.14. Whether or not it will show us an upthrust, it all depends on the demand. When we reach about like October, November time, because if it shot up quicker by mid-October roughly, it may be able to touch the light blue level. So that's where it is, around October 20. You can give and take like a few more days before or after, and of course the later dates as well. So I'll leave the weekly over here for now. If it really comes down for a sign of weakness, we all know something bad can happen all the time, so that's still a possibility, but the likely scenario as of now seems to be testing the green, trying to stay above the yellow. So going to the daily, we talked about, or I mentioned about the upthrust in the beginning. So this, instead of an LPSY, it actually climbed to an upthrust. So this is a point or some price point higher than the buying climax back in end of July. So these 4 days, including today, they all stay or tested above the yellow, but somehow got suppressed or hammered right there. So looking at this very long green bar over here, don't be very excited if you're bullish, because that was quite a bit of selling, especially when it gets close to or around $1. But that's a psychological anchor that a lot of people have whenever it gets to the like close to I won't say a whole number, it's more like a unit kind of thing, like 90 cents, $1, $1.10, that kind of thing, right? So while it's being hammered over there, when it comes down, it also seems to provide or shows a solid support around the 92 cents level. So it's not all bad news. It's just that the bulls and the bears are fighting along this key level, trying to get their turf. I mean, confirm their turf, basically. So if this really happens to the good side or the bull side, what would we see is, if this really continue to go in the weekly to challenge the green line, the green key level, over here, this upthrust may not be over. So if there's no retracement going back to the orange or just this intermediate level at purple, so what would happen is it's only trading sideways and then eventually shoots up to test the green. If that's the case, this is not the end of the upthrust. This is not the highest point of the upthrust. The upthrust would then be over there for the daily time frame. So as of now, I'll add a question mark here because we have no idea where it is going to end unless it comes down and rebound. Then we know this was the upthrust, and the other one that hasn't yet appeared, that peak, is the upthrust of the distribution. So I'll keep this over here and see whether in the next few days the price is going to surge again. I'll quickly check the Bollinger Band and Kona squeeze. Currently there's no squeeze over there. The price can trade sideways to trigger a squeeze to happen, and then a bigger price move will happen by then. But as of now, it is pretty much sticking along the upward or upper side of the channels. So in terms of Wyckoff, after an upthrust, if it is really a peak, where it may not be now, an example is here. So it took a pause back in mid-July and then eventually got to the climax. Right now, there is a chance that it may be the same as what we had gone through almost exactly the same time 1 month ago. So it was July 18th that we've got the red candle. Right now is the 16th of August that we've got the red candle. So this can be some kind of intermediate profit taking or readjusting targets kind of activities going on, and then eventually it may shoot to the actual peak. So I'll say, if you are not in yet, it's a bit of a tricky situation, because for both weekly and daily, it looks like it's not the right moment to get in. But if you really wanted to get in to catch the wave, you know what to do. Just set your stop loss, because if it really comes down for retracement, your capital will be protected, and then you can enter at a better price to catch the next leg upwards. So that's for Cardano. It's kind of still positive, both from the volume perspective as well as the fact that it's staying within the upward channel. So finger crossed for the bulls. The bears, it doesn't mean you don't have a chance, but we may need to wait for a little longer as of this moment, because even if the price comes down for a sign of weakness after the upthrust, if that's really the peak, I'm talking about the second scenario now, jumping a bit. So other than the positive scenario, if this is the negative scenario, where the price comes down for a sign of weakness, that may still have a chance for the bulls to catch a little bit of rebound, because that may be an LPSY coming next after the sign of weakness. So I hope I can I have explained the both the positive and negative scenario, while the signs is a bit mixed. So we've got some pretty good volume increase compared to the previous periods, except like the mid-June time frame. but then there was some heavy selling above the yellow key level. So it all depends on whether this consolidation along the yellow level would continue. If it successfully stays around that level and gain momentum, that's where the positive scenario comes in. If not, if it still continue to get rejected over there, that's where the second scenario may happen before another surge would happen. So I think that's all for now.